Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, joins us now. Congressman, thank you. Our hearts are with you.
Thanks, sir.
Are you confident that they have a handle on it despite the overwhelming challenge that they face?
Well, I do. I've been in charge of oversight of the Department of Homeland Security since Katrina, Rita, Sandy. This has been the worst disaster in the state of Texas in terms of flooding, in fact, for the entire United States. But I have to say it's been one of the best coordinated recoveries that I've seen. I think first and foremost because my governor submitted a declaration for major disaster signed by the president to get FEMA pre-positioned on the ground early on to respond to this enormous, devastating event that I think the state has never seen before.
I mean, you're right, the dimensions are just beyond comprehension. But we also heard in this news conference something called Google heat maps. You know, there are people trapped. You have flooding in Port Arthur and Beaumont, for example, even flooding out of shelter. But they're using new technology to try to get a handle on this.
Well, I think, yeah, and there's a new color code. It's pink that's over 50 inches. Which has never been contemplated before. I'm traveling out from Austin now through my district to Houston to see the devastation. It's important to remember there are a lot of people hurting right now, a lot of people out of homes, flooding in homes, massive. It is going up to Port Arthur and Beaumont and now to Louisiana. I think the petrochemical industry was mentioned. That's very important as a critical infrastructure asset for national security, as it provides about a third of the nation's energy supply. So there are a lot of moving parts here, but I have to say a very well coordinated response to a very massive disaster.
And going down the line as we look at this, will this cause a re-examination, do you think, of the flood protection, of what potentially, went wrong? I mean, you've got the gullies, you've got the bayous, and still we had this just overwhelming catastrophe.
Well, and I don't think, we've never seen a hurricane that's hit multiple times, feeding in the ocean and returning and hitting again with this massive amount of rain. You are correct. I think we will, in a post-mortem exercise, look at the city of Houston and its flood capabilities. I think, obviously, with a lot of the bayous and levees breaking, this is it's been I've never seen anything like it, going through the streets where people are up to their chest high in water. There have been 7,000 rescues, though. I have to say, very important, the fatality rate. We don't want to see one life lost, but relatively low compared to, say, the 1900 hurricane my grandfather was in, where they lost 10,000 people during that hurricane. So we met with the president yesterday. I was glad to see him come down to the state of Texas and not get in the way of response recovery efforts, but show his support for the state, listen to the people on the ground, and tell us that, you know what, we're going to give Texas everything they need.
And finally, your thought, your reflections. You're a Texan born and bred, and when you're dealing with your fellow citizens and seeing what we're seeing, how can all the rest of us in this country help?
And I get that question a lot. I think this is not going to be a matter of days or months, probably a year recovery. I think the volunteers will be very important. I think people sending food packages. There'll be all sorts of ways to help out. Right now, it is saving lives. We're still in a rescue and recovery operation. And, I've had outpouring of calls all across this great nation to help this great state of Texas, and I'm very appreciative.
Congressman Michael McCaul, Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee. This certainly, when dealing with homeland threats, this has been a major one. Congressman, thank you for joining us, and of course our thoughts and prayers of best wishes are with you and the people of your state.
Thank you, Eric.